9th Avenue then approaches 25th Street, yet another major intersection. Several businesses operated around that intersection. On the north corner, across from the cemetery, was the once popular snow cone stand. We enjoyed that place very much during the hot Port Arthur summers. Tweedel, Texaco, and the hardware store were on the west corner or the right-hand side of this video. Across 25th Street stands an empty lot where the Wiengardes shopping center once stood. It held everything from Tom McCann's shoes, the Wiengardes grocery store, TGNY, or the dime store, along with several other clothing stores. It was a popular shopping center where many local residents bought much of their daily needs. To the left side, Calvary Catholic Cemetery still stands. It's the smaller of the two cemeteries in town where many of our loved ones are buried. On the right, just before the railroad tracks and behind what was Wiengardes Shopping Center, lies a triangular patch of trees. That patch of trees holds fond memories for many of us. We call the area the Hobo Woods, or the Hobo Trail. As its name implies, it was a popular jumping-off point for hobos hitching a ride along the train tracks. For us, it was a place of great adventure, where we would dash off and ride our bikes on the trails that lined the woods, looking for fun and exploration, and a little bit of misadventure and mischief, riding our bikes as fast as we could, up and down those trails, jumping hills and ditches, and running up next to the train tracks. The railroad track is a vital artery of the Kansas City Southern Railroad, the source of Arthur Stilwell's empire, and the business that first put Port Arthur on the map. For us kids who lived in the area, the tracks were a source of simple pleasures, fond memories of telling stories of adventure, squashing pennies under the wheels of the train, and watching the trains just go by, wondering where they came from and where they were going. As we cross the railroad tracks, 9th Avenue changes from running through Pear Ridge to running next to Griffin Park. Lombardy Avenue merges with 9th Avenue just after crossing the tracks. Mason's Barbershop stood near that merger in a small business park on the right side of the road. It was an upscale concern that catered to men looking for the best in pampering while enjoying a relaxing experience in all things pertaining to masculine hair care. Continuing eastward, we see the empty green field on the left-hand side of the video. It was once home to the Griffin apartments, but they are long gone. The empty field on the right side is one of the biggest holes along the 9th Avenue business corridor, and one that weighs heavy in our hearts. It's the site of the former St. Mary's Hospital. Torn down in 2020 after nearly 90 years of dutiful service to Port Arthur and the citizens of the general area. If you were from Port Arthur, you were probably born at St. Mary's, and it was where you would go if you needed emergency medical attention. If you look in the background and to the left, you can see St. James Catholic Church. It's been dubbed by many to be the Cathedral of Port Arthur, one of the grandest churches in town, from an era when faith was as important to a community as money. Many of us were married there and remember hearing the Angelus or the church bells ringing at noon and 6 p.m. When I think back, I remember those bells gave me a reassuring feeling. They reminded me of all the good things in my life. And who remembers hearing the Colleens practicing on that big green field behind the hospital? I still remember the music they played, the beat of their drums. The Colleens live on in the memories of many. I know they do in mine. To the left and across the street from St. Mary's is the Snell Shopping Center, home to various businesses over the years. Its most enduring tenant is Drago Hardware, a family business that has been an anchor in the community for many generations. But before Drago's was there, who remembers the Hinky and Pilat store that occupied that same area? I thought the doors of that place were just magic. How in the world did they know how to open just at the right time as we walked up? As we continued down 9th Avenue, to the left was the location where Port Arthur enjoyed its first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant. A block or so later, 9th Avenue goes on to intersect with Gulfway Drive. Gulfway Drive and Proctor Street are perhaps two of the more notable streets in town. The baby boomer generation called Gulfway Drive their own, spending most Friday evenings and much of Saturday evenings driving up and down Gulfway. Continuing down 9th Avenue, in the upper left-hand corner stands Tet Plaza, one of the first major developments owned by Vietnamese immigrants who came to the area in the 1980s. Across the street is Patwood Drug Store, one of the oldest independent drugstores in town.